So I'm trying something different tonight with a little late night gaming RPG design philosophy talk tonight. I'm working on my homebrew set of rules like many of us solo players do. It's called Dice Tales. It's kind of a dice pool system where you have attributes and skills. It's classless. And I got the skill system and the attribute system pretty well worked out for most things, but right now I'm struggling a little with the magic system, so I thought I'd put a little shout out here, and hopefully if you've got something to respond that might be helpful to me, put it in the comments. I'd appreciate it. So tonight's issue is I'm talking about sorcery. I've got a pretty good system for it, I think, and it's based on other planar travel. So depending on the planes you travel to and how close they are to your home plane, and you can see here I've got the travel cost. Hang on, layer. There we go. The way it works is there's planes of different affinities like purity, strength, various attributes, and the spells work by having the sorcerer go to those planes and bind certain assets to themselves. They sources of power in those planes, and then when they cast the spell, they tap into them, and you have to travel through a series of planes in order to cast your spell. And depending on the distance and the number of planes you have to travel to, you add up the cost to traverse, and that gives you the level of difficulty to cast the spell, which you do by rolling against your spirit attribute. Now the issue that I'm having here is, since this is a solo system and I play it myself late night, I'm trying to put some narrative or role play elements into the process of casting spells, and that's the rub. Everything comes down to kind of a mechanical test, and that's okay for combat because it's sort of a bang bang back and forth thing. But I want my sorcery to feel mysterious. I want the process to be a little weird. Sort of Beatles' White Album kind of a vibe to this whole thing, and I'm just not getting it. I just keep having this mechanical process, and it's not what I really want. You know, I don't want it to be just picking up a fistful of dice and adding up the total. I want it to be you experience that kind of psychedelic moment where the sorcerer's spirit leaves this plane and he or she travels to other places, and you kind of get that feeling of weird and mysterious, and there's risk, and it's shadowy, and I can't think of a way of creating a game mechanic for that. So that's kind of what I'm struggling with here, and I'm hoping that maybe somebody has some ideas about how you can tie that sort of otherworldly thing to it. And along with this is going to be a system of wizardry, and that's going to be a lot easier to deal with because wizardry is going to be like coldly rational, tied to intellect, ritual processes. But I want sorcery to feel different. For my divine magic, I've already come up with a mechanism that kind of works for that. It probably needs a little fleshing out. Cleric has a level of divine favor at any given moment, and depending on their success or failure at invoking miracles, that can grow or shrink. But for sorcery, I'm not feeling it, and I want to feel it. So if you have any thoughts about this, drop them in the comments. I'd love to hear it. I'm not looking for an existing game mechanic because I'm trying to come up with something new. I've seen a lot of them, the Mithras RuneQuest style thing with, spirit guides, and that kind of approaches it. But again, it comes down to a game mechanic, and I want more than that in it. So if you have any thoughts, drop them in the comments. Like I said, I'd sure appreciate it. I'm just looking for some inspiration, especially from my fellow solo gamers, and that's the beauty of this. Since it's a homebrew system, it doesn't have to be smooth or even quick. It's just got to get the right feeling and kind of fit into the narrative flow. Because that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for immersion. And right now, picking up dice and rolling them to get a score to successfully cast a spell, not getting it for me. Thanks for listening, and let me know. I'd appreciate it.